What's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? My name is Duran Davis. This video is about me building a home lab. I already set up everything that I need. My switch that I had bought off Facebook Marketplace. I have a Dell OptiPlex computer down there. It's 9020, 16 gigabytes of RAM. i5 processor. I'm not sure the generation though, to be honest with you. And I had to LARP 2 monitors. I found those 2 monitors just in like my storage space in my house. Also found this keyboard in my storage space and this game mouse. I wanted a home lab starting from TikTok. I seen a lot of TikTok videos, a lot of tech videos. Content creators but make home labs, and they said it was a great way to experiment with technology and boost your resume. So that's what I'm really doing this for. A little about me. I started getting deep into the tech space around COVID. I was in high school, 2021 2022 ish. I decided to build computers, build gaming PCs during my free time. It's COVID, you go to school, you're not doing nothing, you just, and Fortnite was big at the time, so I really built it for gaming, to play Fortnite. It's a thing, but that's how I started about, it's 2023 now, 2022, about 4 years ago, something like that. So that started with that, and I built that into a business. I sold computers to people in my high school, sold them on eBay, a little e-commerce, little small teenage hustle, but that made me wanting to do study computers, do something with computers in high school, in college. So I went to FAU, got me a master's, not master's, I might do a master's, but got me a bachelor's in management information systems at Florida Atlantic University. Go Owls. You know what it is. I started 2023 fall in August. Graduated May 2026. So about a month or two ago from now. Today is August 1st. No, August 2nd or the 3rd of 2026. So I am a recent graduate. And after becoming a recent graduate, I took that whole month of May, because I graduated like May 9th or the 8th or the 7th. I'm not too sure one of those days, but it was one of those days. I took that whole month off. I graduated in 3 years. So I'm already a year ahead of everybody my age. After I graduated, I decided to, get my CompTIA A+, in starting June, but I finished Core 1 and Core 2 July 24th, so I'm now CompTIA A+ certified. And right now, applying to jobs. I done a tech internship with a political campaign. Shout out John Fay, A Better Way campaign. Make sure y'all go vote for him if he's still running this time. During this time. During my internship, I was the IT generalist. What I did was it was a remote internship too, so everything was online. What I did was just help with the Google Drive. We use Google Drive to share files and save files for the entire organization, campaign, firm, whatever you want to call it. It was non-paid internship, but it was a good way to get experience. It was nice. My time ended when the semester ended, which was, I believe, fall of 2025. Yes, fall of 2025. So I started that in August, ended in December, and I was done with that. I thought I wanted to do coding, but I just never really found it interesting when I took a couple coding classes. Right now, I'm just got my little home lab set up. Got a C920, I believe. I said C920. Cisco 2960X. Off Facebook Marketplace for about I want to say like $85. Dell found this at a steal, low key. Facebook Marketplace for $50, and it came with a 300 gigabyte hard drive, 100 like 13 or 11 gigabyte SSD inside. And I also found some networking gear. Also found a Fios router / modem. My sister gave it to me. I don't know why she had it. After we don't use Verizon, we use Xfinity. A couple of Netgear routers and modems too. So my plan to use those, I had ChatGPT'd, so I believe I can use those as access points. So I'm gonna do that so I can have some access point configuration on my resume. You know, everything I'm doing here is to build for my resume, but also to learn. And I actually like learning this. I'm not gonna lie. Right now I work at a doctor's office. We do MRIs and x-rays. Little part-time job. Had it since college. Right now I'm focusing on getting to a help desk entry level. Just take my foot through the door, you know. And yeah, what I just wanted to do with this setup, my home lab, I want to learn Active Directory. I also want to learn how to configure VLANs. My main focus to just learn virtual machines. So I'm going to use Proxmox for my home lab. And that's how I'm going to get things started. I don't know anything about VMs, virtual machines. I know what they do. I know what they look like, but I don't know how to set one up. The resources I'm going to use to help me is first, you know, trial and error by myself, me and my good old brain. The internet, Reddit, and AI, ChatGPT, Claude. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna install Proxmox with a USB that I have. Yeah, stay tuned. So y'all, we got the Proxmox running. It's installed on my computer now. I ChatGPT'd it. Apparently, it's only a web-based front end. So it's like I got two monitors for no reason. W LARPing, but I got my laptop here. Gotta put the pin in, you know, for you people out there trying to take my stuff, just in case. But now what I'm gonna do is put in my Proxmox web interface URL, and yeah, see you soon again. I installed Proxmox. It gave me some problems because I believe the switch has a little problem. So I have a console cable, but it's a DB9 to RJ45 cable, and I can't use the Dell I got from Facebook Marketplace to look at any switch settings or configurations. So I'm gonna have to go out my way and buy a USB to RJ45 for my laptop. Made me like a whole bunch of problems. It wasn't allowing me to go to the web interface. I couldn't even ping the server to see if it was connecting. It wouldn't let me ping it. I went through ChatGPT like for 20 minutes just to be able to get into the web interface. I gotta figure out how to put some virtual machines on here though. I hope the virtual machines don't pop up on my laptop, because that was not what I was intending this to be for. Like, I don't want to do work for my laptop, so I'm gonna have to research that. I hope that I can run like VMs on the Dell itself. And that's where we're at now, trying to get some VMs on here. I don't know how to install VMs or anything like that yet, so I'm gonna see how to do that. Catch y'all soon. Proxmox installed. So guys, I have finally created my first virtual machine. It's a Windows Server virtual machine. If I'm being honest with you, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna keep using Proxmox. I intended to use the actual Dell for like everything, like to for the server, GUI, graphics, all of that. I'm stuck using my laptop, like, it's a web interface, but it's low-key a little bit too much. Maybe I'm thinking I might reinstall Windows 10 because 4 gigabytes is not enough for Windows 11. It can run, but not really smoothly. Installing Windows server right now, just experimenting with virtual machines and stuff like that. I do need to get a console cable or adapter so I can fix this switch because this PC, but yeah, it's not connected to the Ethernet. It says unidentified network. I'm getting a people IP address 169 address, and I've already troubleshooted. I've connected the Ethernet directly to the router. It's not the router or modem, my Xfinity router. It's the switch, not the cable. So I gotta go into the console, do a little chat GPT Claude. And yeah, I need me a console cable to fix that. But yeah, if I'm using Proxmox still, you guys will know. If I'm using virtual machine, VMbox, not VMware, VMbox, y'all would know. Just in the trial and error phase right now, seeing what I want to use, what I like the best. I do know Proxmox gives you the most versatility. My first time creating virtual machines, don't think that's what I need right now. What I need to know is how can use Active Directory, how can I set up VMs, all of that type of stuff. All right, guys, so this is day 2 of the home lab. Getting used to Proxmox. I'm gonna stick with Proxmox, get used to to the learning curve. With some research, and they convinced me to still use Proxmox. I think I'm gonna stick with this, get used to this. Because I feel like if you master the type 1 hypervisor, you master the type 2 hypervisor. So I'm gonna stick with this, see where this takes me. I figured out why I was getting a 169 IP address for my laptop. ChatGPT done put me through all type of codes. Oh, I finally got my serial cable, my console cable for my switch, USB to RJ45. So I was able to go into the Cisco configurations and see what's going on using PuTTY. So that was cool, that was fun, not gonna lie. Didn't know any of the codes or terms. So yeah, the reason why my laptop was getting a 169 address because I have no laptop, I have no Ethernet port for my laptop, so I had found a Belkin Ethernet USB to Ethernet adapter. It was old, and that was the problem. I was sitting there troubleshooting this switch for like an hour, seeing like where ChatGPT can guide me to see if something's wrong with it or not. Nothing's wrong with the switch. Nothing was wrong with the Ethernet cable or my laptop. Something was wrong with the adapter. I checked the drivers for adapter. The last time the drivers got updated or whatever, it was 2015. I tried to look at the adapters, driver date and device manager again after I rebooted everything. Still 2015. So I'm just guessing that that adapter just does not work well with Cisco switches or just switches in general. I'm not sure, because when I plugged it into the router, the Ethernet, the USB to Ethernet adapter, Ethernet to the router straight from the laptop, no switch involved, I got an IP address, private IP address 10.0 whatever IP address, and it worked. And I came to that conclusion because I tried to use it on my personal desktop gaming PC that I have. I had took the USB Ethernet, put it in there. Instead of using my regular Ethernet port, I had used the Ethernet adapters port, put it into the switch. I was getting a 169 IP address again on that too. So I knew it was the adapter. So I don't need it, but I just felt like I just like stuff to just be like in sync. You know, I didn't want to use Wi-Fi, but I did ask Claude what adapters work for Cisco switches for laptops and stuff. You know, and I heard, and it told me something about like a pluggable brand Ethernet adapter. So I'll get that eventually. I don't really need it right now. But yeah, I finally reinstalled Proxmox. I got everything going. Just need to install VMs. I already know how to install the VMs. I did it. I did Windows Server. I did that. But I deleted everything. I just need a fresh start, like just to mentally just, you know. But I think I'm getting the hang of things now. You know, nothing too serious, real basic, but we're getting there. Let me show you how to set up real quick. So this is the setup now. Got my Proxmox here, my switches here, my switches over here, but I got my printers and stuff and just family household items here. Proxmox running right here on this monitor to my Dell laptop. Is connected to this with the HDMI. So this is a dual monitor kind of setup right here that we have going on. I'm gonna be able to see the VMs on these two screens, using these two screens. So it'll just be easier for me to run VMs and look at both at one time. Like say Windows Server and a regular Windows client, Active Directory, I can just swap between the Windows Server, Windows client for some Active Directory practice experience to put on my resume. And that's where we're at now. We're gonna start installing VMs. Oh, also one thing I do want to mention, when I was setting up my Proxmox server on the Dell OptiPlex, I kept getting a 192 IP address, and I was wondering why, because my house is not 192, it uses 10.0.0 da 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 da. Why does Proxmox only allow 11 seconds for the DHCP protocol to run? So I was running into that problem because apparently this switch has a spanning tree protocol to prevent on all ports, to prevent a network loop, so we don't get no broadcast storms, something like that. In class, that takes about 30 seconds. The DHCP process takes about 30 seconds to the 4-step, the DORA process: discover, offer, leave, accept. I think that's the 4-step process. But that was a problem. That's why I was getting a 192 IP address on there. So I had to cloud it up, get on that AI. They gave me some Cisco switch code to enable port fast for the port that I have my Dell plugged into, and I was able to get complete the DHCP process in a timely manner for Proxmox. Today I fixed it. Now I know why. So that's a good thing about learning. Learning is always fun, especially when it's something you're passionate about, y'all. So I'm watching a video of installing Active Directory on my Windows VM. Make sure you guys, if you're doing a VM, to promote it to domain controller. Domain controller makes your server basically the main server for Active Directory. This is what is able to authenticate the users and gives access to the users, and also enforce security policies. So it's very important that I promote this to domain controller. And you want to make sure you click add a new forest if you have no domain controller already and you're just practicing on how Active Directory works. This basically just, you can read it, add a domain controller to an existing domain. I have no existing domain already, so this means like this is not the option. That's not the option for me. And this is, you set your domain name here. I'm just gonna put Duran's Home Lab. All right, so right now we're just installing our Active Directory domain services. This is gonna be our main controller. It's gonna restart as it says here. So let's let it restart. Close, maybe. Yep, there it goes. It's restarting now. And here it is, my Active Directory. This is exactly how it looks straight out the box, straight off of a reboot after installing it. So now it's just time to practice, guys. Okay, so I got my OUs, my Hidden Cloud Village, Hidden Leaf Village, and Sand Village OUs, Naruto references. I decided to go with those names just so it's easier for me to remember. So I'm just following a little video right now, just learning, but everything is very simple so far. You know, I already knew what organizational units were, do my CompTIA A+, so nothing too hard so far. So guys, this is my updated Active Directory. I decided to just use one OU for my company location, Hidden Leaf Village, instead of all the other hidden villages. Just to make things simpler and just, you know, to learn and just not overcomplicate things when it doesn't have to be. Right now I have an OU for my Hidden Leaf Village, that's the company. I have groups to manage those easily, a OU for users, and in that OU, more OUs depending on the department of the user. Workstations are going to be for the computers that the company uses, and servers is the servers that the company uses too. That's going to be file sharing servers, print servers, things like that. So that's where we're at now. That's where I think I'm gonna stop for today. I'm gonna add all my groups and users. I think I'm gonna touch group policies after that too. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. So y'all, I'm currently installing Windows 10 client because the Windows 11 was just, it was just a lot for the PC to handle. Windows 10 is taking a while too. It took a while to install. I'm thinking it's because I'm using the hard drive instead. The SSD is only a 111 gigabyte SSD that came inside the OptiPlex, so it wasn't a lot of space in it regardless. No, the operating systems take about like 20 to 40 gigabytes already, so I'm not sure. I gave this Windows 10 client 6 gigabytes of RAM, 50 gigabytes of disk space through the hard drive. If this is taking forever still, or just taking a while, I'm gonna assume it's stuff because I'm using a hard drive. I might have to use my personal PC that I built and run like VMbox on it, or VMware, a type 2 hypervisor, just so I can get things running and, you know, continue my Active Directory project. So that's what I might have to do, but I'll keep y'all updated as usual. So y'all, currently on my Active Directory journey, I have now been able to learn how to add groups, add users to those groups from members, from the user section from the actual user and the groups itself. Learned how to configure file sharing, and I understand the inheritance of the parent and the child folders. I understand this easily because I have a little bit of a coding background. I took some classes in college for web development, and we used CSS, HTML, JavaScript, the basics. Also a little bit of Bootstrap, and I also did a Java introduction to Java course. So I was very easy for me to understand those concepts of inheritance and permissions and security levels and all that. I know how to map the folders because I'm able to map drives. So that was also easy too. One thing, a hiccup is on my actual home lab, I am not able to run my Windows server and my Windows client on the same PC. It's a disaster, and it's mainly not because of my system, honestly. It's because the SSD, it doesn't have enough space. So if I want to do that, I'm definitely have to upgrade my SSD. But I'm using my other computer, VirtualBox, the Type 2 hypervisor. So I'm getting experience with Type 2 hypervisor, Type 1 hypervisor, Proxmox. This whole thing is just for experimentation. That's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna try to do some group policy GPOs. So guys, today in my home lab, I made GPOs. These are applied to every single user. I have a password policy, drive mapping policy, desktop wallpaper policy, and policy to restrict control panel from the users. The password policy is pretty straightforward. Basically, I configured the password length to 9 characters minimum, and password must meet complexity requirements. This is a default setting that Windows has. Complexity is based off of what Windows requires. For drive mapping, I did this. This was under computer configurations. User configurations, because we want the users to be able to decide if they want to have the drives already mapped when they sign into their computer. And we had mapped this drive. It's basically just my company data folder for the entire company. This is restricting the file sharing in the Active Directory and users. So only certain in the file shares, only certain users can access depending on their department. And those are linked to the groups, not the users themselves, which the users are members of those groups, of the groups OUs. So that's it for drives. Desktop wallpaper, that's configured. Those are configured on the computer policies. I believe administrative, desktop. Oh no. Found it, guys. It's actually user policy, user configuration and policies. Here we go, policies, and then administrative templates, desktop. And then here we have it enabled. I mapped the wallpaper, the image, to an image. It should be a Hidden Leaf Village themed wallpaper, because we are basing this entire Active Directory domain on the Hidden Leaf Village to make things simpler for me and hopefully anybody watching this. Strict Pro panel. This is enforced on user configurations, policies, I believe admin control panel, and I have this, yes, hide specified control items configured. I have it enabled, and the one I don't want to show this for test is Microsoft.sound. It's really just the sound when you go to your control panel, the sound tool, but you have to format it as such as shown down here. The canonical name, and you put that there, and hopefully when I go on my Windows client, none of the client should be able to access the sound. This is where I'm at right now, and let's keep on going. So guys, after creating our GPOs, You can find them here from your domain in your forest, or your forest to your domain. To apply these group policy objects to our users, or whatever, you know, my accounting users, HR users, and everything, all we do is drag and drop our GPOs onto whichever OU we want to add it to. In this case, I'm gonna add restrict control panel to my users. It's gonna be okay. And that should be added here. And everything is a hierarchy, inheritance traits. So this will be added to all of these. Y'all, so I'm on my Windows client PC. So the GPO for the control panel, sound, making the sound not being hidden, not being able to accessible to the users, it worked. But the wallpaper is not showing, it's just a blank screen. But I do know that it's in effect because usually the Windows client just has a regular, you know, Windows logo for the Windows 10. So I want to go and try and fix that, see what's the issue with that. So guys, I just did a GP update through the command prompt on the Windows server. So hopefully the updates to the group policy should work now. So let's see when this turns on. I'll let you guys know. So guys, I logged in with a different user I never logged in before with, and the wallpaper still did not change, but it's a black screen, so I know the policy is in effect. Let me see if my map drive is on the computer. Okay, the map drive is on the computer. I did map it to be drive E, and all the company data here. Public, all departments test. So, oh yes, I had tried to set up the file. Let me just type Neji. This is Neji's profile, Neji's user account. And yes, only the IT can save this. But let me check him into the accounting because he is part of the accounting. I believe in the show they are Team 9. So I did Neji and Rock Lee. Neji, Rock Lee, and 1010. This is part of my file sharing little project I did for my overall Active Directory project save. So now everybody in accounting should be able to see this. When they open it, they can see this. Just like a little check-in I made just to make sure that those people in the accounting department has access, full control to this file share. So I need to see why this is not updating. So that's my next move. I'm forcing the update once again. What I did this time was I placed the wallpaper image in the shared drive folder and I actually mapped it. So hopefully it should work. This is how I mapped it, my domain, or the server name, I should say, that the computer's called, the file, and then the image name, which I named it wallpaper.jpg. So hopefully, let's see if it let's see if it works. All right, guys, so that got it to work. So guys, currently I'm using the DNS manager to just familiarize myself with forward lookup zones, DNS records, which I learned in my A+, so I know most of them. I know A record, C name, Kanako names, a triple A record, well, quadruple A records is for IP version 6. But right now, I'm trying to make a reverse lookup zone for DNS. You type in a name, type in Google, and it will give you Google's DNS record. Google's IP address. That's how we get to websites, web pages. In the modern world, we don't remember IP addresses because if we did, that'd be too much. So basically, a reverse lookup zone. This would allow us to type in an IP address and get sent to the web page we want to go to. So this is just the reverse of DNS. DNS is name to IP, and reverse lookup zones, reverse DNS. IP address to name. Just a different way of getting to the same location. So hey guys, we've completed the home lab, the project, gained some experience in Active Directory, as you know this was intended for. What we've done is install Proxmox, learn how to do that, created our USB as a bootable device using Rufus, created VMs, troubleshooting a lot of the times of VMs, giving it more resources, memory, hard drive space, disk space. We've used the Type 2 hypervisor, VirtualBox. That's what I've used for my Windows client, because the hard drive that I gave the VMs from my Dell OptiPlex, my main PC, my server, was not enough. So I had to use a different computer entirely to be able to do that, using virtual machine VM box. What else we did? We have also installed Windows Server, Windows Client on our virtual machines, and that's what allowed us to be able to do stuff in Active Directory and get an understanding and a grip of a corporate environment. We have also configured organizational units and GPOs, group policy objects, for those OUs. We've also learned a little bit of DHCP server management. I made my server IP static. The Dell OptiPlex's IP static. We also learned how to configure a switch. A little bit, not fully configured, but just a little bit. No VLANs yet, just enabling port fast, so the DHCP process could progress faster, enabling Proxmox to get an IP address. Also learned how to do reverse lookup zones. Simple process, understood it immediately when I researched it online. Simple process, I explained it earlier. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm gonna put this project on my resume, make this video available to any recruiters, hiring managers, and that's where I'm at. It's not the end of the home lab. I'm continuing to probably do more, probably when I'm gonna start studying for my CCNA to get that certification to become a network engineer, or be on the path to becoming a network engineer. I know it's not that simple. Nothing in life is, but hopefully this home lab journey that I did inspired you guys to start your own, get some hands-on experience, and just keep going at it, you know? But thanks you guys for watching this journey. If you have any questions, just reach out to me at my email, durandavis2005@gmail.com. That's DURANDAVIS2005@gmail.com. And you guys have a good day. Bye.